loses a close, tough fight to Terence Crawford. I don't know.
But he's gotten older. He's grown out of the division.
Who?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so is Terence Crawford.
You can't make the weight.
But so is Terence Crawford. I picked Terence Crawford because he started 135. Floyd started 130. He turned pro. He's 130 pounds.
I mean, Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max. I'm a fan.
Good Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being, 38? Something like that, yeah, 38. So listen, to do what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest to do it.
Max Kellerman looks at the much anticipated fight between Mayweather and Crawford and shows how different their paths are. According to him, Floyd picked opponents on purpose to protect his record, which got him a lot of wins, but also a lot of criticism. On the other hand, Terence Crawford was always up for a fight. He was always ready to fight anyone who got in his way and prove himself. Kellerman likes Crawford better than Mayweather because Crawford is brave and ready to fight anyone, which gives him an edge.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Max Kellerman has always been doubtful about Floyd Mayweather's right to be at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings. Even though Kellerman agrees that Floyd was technically very good at what he did, he doesn't think that makes him the best of all time. In his work, he talks about Terence Crawford. Pacquiao and Crawford are both boxers who have won titles in for different weight classes. Pacquiao made a name for himself by moving up in weight classes and beating winners along the way. Kellerman thinks this is the way Crawford will move. He sees it as proof that having a perfect record isn't what makes you the best. Instead, he thinks it takes courage to fight against the best opponents in different categories.
No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing.
In order to keep his perfect record, Kellerman also said that Mayweather was being too careful with his career. He said Floyd often matched up with opponents who were either past their best or not as good at strategy. Early in his career, Mayweather was known for how smart and good he was at defense. In the end, though, he liked the fights that paid more than the ones that were hard. Some people said that his perfect record wasn't really proof that he was the best in the world, but rather a way to make money. Kellerman says that Floyd is great because of this change. However, the way he matched players made his zero less valuable because fans want to see him in real danger, not in fake matches.
Floyd was fighting everyone right up until the point where he started to make money. But as much credit as you get for making, the primacy of business, for making business your priority, well, that comes with trade-offs. Because when you make business decisions constantly, sometimes your athletic achievements won't be regarded in the same way as if you made athletic achievements your priority. That said, Mayweather has accomplished a tremendous amount athletically. But the 3 fighters he didn't fight, Antonio Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, when he was obliterating De La Hoya, Hatton, and Cotto, and Shane Mosley when he still had something left. And while he will wind up fighting Pacquiao and Mosley, it'll both be, at the right time for Floyd. That said, what about at the right time for Floyd? He's also ancient. A fighter approaching 40, fighting at the level Mayweather is fighting, is unheard of. Mayweather, until recent times, would be considered one of the greatest older fighters. That would be the whole story. Oh my God, can you believe how old Mayweather is? It was a little bit unfair to Floyd. say, well, you're picking these guys at the right time. Floyd is old.
Fans and commentators who care about Mayweather's image didn't like Kellerman's idea that Terence Crawford might be the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. Some people thought that Kellerman promoted Crawford too quickly and that the man still had a lot to give in his career. Chael Sonnen, a former UFC fighter, said Kellerman had the right to say what he thought. Sonnen said that people in the business world and in the public eye can both say bold things when they really think something is great. He said that Kellerman's opinion shouldn't be thrown out because it's biased, but should be seen as the opinion of someone who has seen boxing get better over time. Sonnen brought up a good point of view that comes up in combat sports, where different opinions lead to arguments about who is the best of all time.
Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max. I'm a fan. I stopped off and had a career doing it, but I started as a fan during my time in that career, and now I'm a fan. And Max was a little heavy on Canelo. Now, when I say it was a little heavy, it just surprised me as such an expert, as a guy that knows everything. I mean, Max knows the amateurs. He knows what Usyk did in the Olympic Games and the World Championships and the Golden Gloves before that, and he knows everybody else as well. I was a little surprised, if I'm being fair, at how much he thought Canelo was a great fighter. That part did surprise me. But just because Canelo has been beat doesn't mean he's not. It's interesting. Canelo's had some really hard fights, and by the way, he's had a lot of them. There's not usually a time in boxing where a guy can have anything but a 0 in his loss column, and the guy can still get over. Not only was that not the case, Canelo was valued just dollar and cents at 10 times more valuable than Crawford. Oh, by the way, Crawford is the only one that showed up with an undefeated record. And I must admit, some of those losses that Canelo had seem like the kind of thing that would really slow a guy down.
Terence Crawford's supposed plan to become the undisputed middleweight king made people both interested and wary. Canelo Alvarez is known as the face of modern boxing, but Crawford has already beaten him. He doesn't have much to leave behind. By beating Canelo, he showed that size and strength couldn't stop him. Some experts think that Crawford has already found the sport's most recognizable and strong character. He can't do anything else, then. However, the fact that he wants to be 160 pounds without a doubt shows that he wants to push himself even more. If he wins, he'll make history and become known as a boxer who always tries to be the best. He'll be different from everyone else.
Anticlimaxing for him to drop back down because you already reached the height. You already slayed the giant. And essentially that's what Terence Crawford has already done. He slayed the giant, okay? Anything else he can do is going to be anticlimaxing. Nobody else he can fight. Canelo Alvarez has 63 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Canelo Alvarez is the face, or was the face, of the sport of boxing. Right? And you defeated him and outclassed him. Everybody expected you to get knocked out. It was a money grab. It wasn't realistic. And you achieved it. Right? There's nothing else you can do but one thing. And as I stated, you can put your crown so high on the pedestal, it's almost impossible to reach. And I stated that becoming undisputed in another glamour division in 2 fights, because it really doesn't matter who Terence Crawford fights at this point in time. There is no name that's going to garner him the traction and attention that he got from fighting Canelo. If he fights Jaron Ennis, it's not going to do it. Virgil Ortiz, not going to do it. None of those guys, anybody would put against Canelo Alvarez and say that they would beat Canelo Alvarez. So now he would be expected to beat everybody. Okay? Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, because of the size difference. He's 6'6", 80 plus inch arm reach, right? At fighting at 154 pounds, that would be attractive.
If it comes to being the best of all time, Kellerman strongly disagrees with the idea that Mayweather immediately holds the title. He says Floyd never did the brave things that make stars. He thinks that being great is more than just being good at defense and making money. Legends like Muhammad Ali and Roberto Duran put their names at risk by facing the best, no matter where or when it happened. Kellerman didn't think Mayweather was as brave as Kellerman. This is the reason he doesn't believe Floyd is the best fighter. He instead focuses on boxers like Crawford who face tough opponents without using a business model to hide.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0 before Floyd got to 50-0. He was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twist. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
Hamza Shiraz, a British fighter, praised Crawford for how he built his image. Among other things, he talked a lot about Crawford's unique path, which combines being the best with a determination to face every big competitor. Shiraz said it was an honor to see a fighter grow into a champion-level fighter who does everything so perfectly and so easily that it looks like it was no effort at all. He cares about Crawford's story not only because of the wins, but also because of the message it sends. Do not avoid your hardest problems if you want to be great. Instead, face them head-on. Shiraz is a lot like the growing number of players and boxing fans who think Crawford's run was the best ever.
Whack, like I was saying it, oh mate, I had it totally wrong. But it just goes to show how good Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being, 38? Something like that, yeah, 38. So listen, to do what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights, yeah, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest to do it, one of the greatest to set foot in it. You know what, it was an honor to watch himself and Canelo live ringside. So yeah, the outcome of it wasn't ideal because if Canelo won, I would have been in line next, which is still the case, but just delayed a little bit. And I suppose it all depends what Crawford wants to do.
I saw a post from Umar actually, who put out before the fight, said, I really want my boy Hamza to win, but I think that Crawford will win. And I think a lot of people kind of possibly have seen that sentiment of they want him to win for you, but at the same time, a few people I spoke to picked Crawford to win.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was a split of opinions, wasn't it? It was very, very divided. But then straight away, when the first bell went, and I see Crawford run to the centre, grab centre, you know he weren't there to fuck around, man. And he just bossed it. He just bossed it. I think I'll give Canelo no more than 4 rounds. But then at the same time, you've got to put yourself in Canelo's shoes. He's achieved everything he's needed to do in the sport. He's earned more than enough money, and he's still daring to be great. So as a fighter, as a fan, we can only appreciate that.
During these arguments, one analyst said that Saudi Arabia's growing power is changing the way boxing is played all over the world. As of late, Turki Alalshik has put together some of the most famous fight cards. He is at the center of this change. Mega fights have mostly happened in the United States in the past. Now, Saudi Arabia is a new place where big events happen. A lot of these matches are either strange or meant to be fun. They're not meant to put the best against the best, but to get people's attention. Some people think that Alalshik's plan is meant to hurt the American market, which has long controlled the sport, as well as boost Saudi Arabia's sports reputation. He changes the center of gravity of boxing in a sneaky way by bringing big names and great athletes to Saudi Arabia over and over again. Boxing fans like the show, but some are worried that the competitive spirit of the sport is being weakened to make money. The events are beautiful and challenging physically. The real question, though, is whether who can pay the most will decide the sport's future instead of what is best for it. This makes me wonder even more. Is boxing changing or losing what it stands for?
And I had been telling you that he was not coming to America with that. For that, he is coming to take boxing to Saudi Arabia. He is not trying to help boxing in America. He is trying to help boxing in Saudi Arabia. And in order to help boxing in Saudi Arabia, he has to do damage to American boxing, because American boxing is the mecca of boxing right now, and he wants to change where the mecca is. So when he backed Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, I did a video and I said, we know what this is going to be. This is going to be them trying to get this fight over for Canelo Alvarez. And then after that, Turki Al-Sheikh wants to take Canelo Alvarez to Saudi Arabia so he can fight Hamad Shiraz. And Hamad Shiraz can be the one to beat Canelo Alvarez and become the undisputed champion. And that was the end game that Turki Al-Sheikh had. So let's now talk about the fight that was necessary for Canelo to win in order for Turki's plans to come off. Terence Crawford had to lose to Canelo Alvarez. In the fight itself, as I have witnessed and many people have witnessed, that was not a close fight. That was a fight in which Terence Crawford won and won convincingly. The fight was probably close up until around round 4 or 5, at which point in time Terence Crawford pulled out and pulled away and dominated that fight. Many experts, including myself, say that Terence Crawford won all but maybe 2 rounds. And there are some people that said that they didn't think Canelo won any rounds convincing.
Boxing was shocked when Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez. It was the moment that made him famous. His resume looked better because of this success, and it also made him a lot of money, supposedly hundreds of millions of dollars. They said Crawford's win put him in a unique position where his skills and the money he made were perfectly matched. People quickly talked about what he should do next after taking out one of the sport's big names. A lot of people saw this as proof of what Kellerman and others had said before. Crawford doesn't have to take great care of his image. This is because it is meant to solve the hardest problems. Aside from the money, the respect he has gained by being one of the best of all time is more valuable.
Defeated now 42 and 0 with 31 KOs, defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez 63-3-2. Moving up 2 weight divisions was a brilliant performance. We're going to analyze the actual performance and how good he was technically, tactically, physically later on in the show, and we talk about the pound for pound list, Spencer and I. But what I want to ask you is, given that the judges scored it 115, 113, 115, Tim Cheatham 115, 113, Max DeLuca 115, 113, Steve Weisfeld 116, 112. Yeah, 116, 112 is 8 rounds to 4. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I could even have scored it 10 rounds to 2. How did you have it?
Yeah, I had it 117, 111. I thought the scorecards
9 to 3 then, yeah?
Yeah, I thought the scorecards were way too close. But there was always going to happen with Canelo Alvarez to beat him in Vegas. We've seen a few fights go close before. Triple G was one that comes to mind straight away, where I thought Triple G had won the first fight for sure, and it didn't go his way.
Imagine this, Spence. If Terence had tripped over Canelo's feet late in the fight, let's say he tripped over, and they'd scored that a knockdown, it would have been a majority draw.
Yeah.
And we'd have been screaming blue murder, wouldn't we? We'd have got a rematch.
Yeah.
We might still get a rematch.
I was going to say that, by the way. That's the only place now for Canelo Alvarez to go to. We know he's still got a couple of fights left with Riyadh season in his contract.
I think he'll become like a Ronaldo, a Cristiano Ronaldo for Turki Al-Sheikh. That's what he seems to be setting up as. Get him 2 or 3 more fights, keep him busy, make him a brand ambassador for Riyadh season, get the Mexican audience to know, because obviously there's a big PR going on for Saudi Arabia. They want to conquer America, Latin America. They want to be known out there.